Kenny G pulling the chair out for Joe Steranka. It's hard to imagine that. It used to be nobody would pull the chair out for Joe Steranka, or they will continue to pull the chair as he sits down.
Rick, he talked about his great moments of his life. I just had Kenny G open for Joe Steranka. I mean,
yeah, isn't that great?
This is unbelievable. I love your new bossa nova stuff. I mean, yeah, that's really good.
You recognize that.
Yeah. Any other stuff you want to promote before we start this? You got to promote.
Joe's got it together. Right? Joe,
Go. All right.
You talk on my behalf.
Wow. All the permission, but not a piece, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah.
Not the hair.
No. I wish I had
God
hair.
knows.
My wife wishes that.
You need some kind of hair issue there somewhere. So.
As you know, I mean, we are so blessed in the golf industry to have people from all walks of life that are really respected entertainers, business people, folks that kids look up to, we look up to, and the passion that they have for the game and really the fundamental economics of a golf tournament on the PGA Tour, where charities own these big, global sports properties. Is amazing. So
well, let's start with that perspective, because you were the CEO of PGA of America since 05?
I was
05 until 13
to end of 2012, right?
12, early 13, end of 12. So 8-9 years, but you were involved in the promotion of the game for 90, 100 years, whatever has been on the planet. In addition to, Kenny G's a Washington grad, which we didn't even talk about, going to the Final Four football and the Huskies and all of that.
I was in the Huskies marching band.
Did you play sax? Clearly.
No, Rick, I played trombone.
I was the team accountant, ladies and gentlemen. I did all the books. That's right. That was very good. We're gonna rack that one up in the most stupid moments ever. But the last time I saw him was one of the first and only times the West Virginia Mountaineers had made the Final Four in basketball.
Second time.
And he was all excited before he got pounded by who? Where was that?
This small North Carolina school.
Oh, yeah, that's
with
right.
A few students.
Yeah, I forgot. Right.
And
you got pounded by like
legendary coach.
60 points, right?
Yeah.
He was walking around with that.
Mike Krzyzewski and
Duke. And he was walking around with his Musketeer stuff, his Mountaineer stuff. It was really fun until the game started. Right?
It was a great experience.
Joe Steranka has been the guy that's promoted golf for so long with the PGA of America, and one of the things you mentioned about Kenny G and keeping things relevant, the numbers we've found is that, as we said, 6.3 million millennials. The PGA Junior events have increased about 233%. 5 million now women 18 and above playing. It's a number that's a little different. Obviously, from your perspective, how important is diversity to keep the sport relevant?
Well, let's face it. We're right in the early stages of what demographers call the browning of America, where you've got a more diverse country, people from all walks of life, and the one thing that they find is that golf is the ultimate challenge. So. Participation rates among Hispanic households are lower than Asian American households, but African Americans play at a smaller rate than Caucasian households. But getting the entire family involved with what's so special about golf, let's face it, it is a game that you can pick up at age 8 and play until age 80, and the PGA Junior League that you mentioned, that has been part of a real catalyst for 500,000 young people taking up the game just in the last 5 years. So while other participation sports, some of the team sports participation rates are down, especially with boys. Boys seem to be, pulled away by, all sorts of glass, meaning the handheld devices that they're playing games on today. So to be able to get kids back connected with the game of golf, and they get outside in the fresh air, they're walking, it's healthy for the mind and the body, and that appeals to mom. And mom, let's face it, mom's she keeps the shot clock and the wallet in America's household. So she's determining how people are going to spend time and money.
Sienna Gehring, our executive producer extraordinaire, she said she had a rough night last night. The camera is still not shaking, so we're okay, but we're halfway through. Have you ever heard this referred to as glass? The phone's referred to as glass?
Never.
Kenny G, ever glass? No?
He's such an amazing boss. So.
What he means, I'll translate. What he means is the phones and the opportunity to do other things, clearly.
I got that from somebody much smarter than I am about technology.
I hope so, which is, it's a limbo. It's a very small limbo bar, ladies and gentlemen. Me too. I know the same kind of thing. I'll have my daughter try to figure out how to use that
believe
phone.
me, your Facebook Live audience, they understand this
Yeah, they do,
stuff.
clearly,
So
or they wouldn't be watching. Now, I understand. Go with the flow.
Yeah.
The glass, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. 37.5 million people interested in golf, according to the NGF. That's in the U.S. That is understated. But how do you build on that?
Yeah, well, what you do is you see the Honda Classic is a primary example where this is an event with players from dozens of countries. It's televised to almost 1 billion households in 100 countries around the world. So it attracts, not just the greatest players from Palm Beach County, which is the golf capital of the world, or the state of Florida with 1,200 golf courses, making it almost one of the biggest golf countries of the world. But literally, people from around the globe who come play on the PGA Tour. But the fans, what do the fans talk about? They'll talk about the dark and stormy bear trap that Gosling sponsors, or the new millennials programmed Michelob Ultra Lounge.
And that guy's annual concert, Kenny G's annual concert.
Exactly.
Right.
So
it's better every year.
Let's face it, people are busier than they've ever been. So you can create a lot of things, but you can't create any more time. Yeah. So we have to give people a reason to say, I'm going to give you 4 hours of my time to come out on an afternoon, or an afternoon leading into an evening, and we're going to give them great, legitimate sports competition, but we're going to entertain the heck out of them while they're here as well.
And so from a television perspective, keep your hat on as the former PGA America guy, but also the chairman of the Honda Classic Board of Directors, so he wears 2 hats on this one. 22% increase in television ratings last year. We don't know early this year, not relevant, but there is a trend upward. And the more important number really is the digital piece. The players, according to the tour, about 40 million followers of the players on social media, and the number we've got is about 450 million identified unique visits. So I guess what we're trying to say is the platforms are now branching into the next millennium, and we have more sophisticated ways to watch the tour.
Absolutely, and the transition of your content about the business of sport to social media shows that you've embraced the keyword that came out at the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas this year. In terms of media companies, everyone has to be, are you ready for this?
Go.
Omni-channel.
Oh, that's decouching was 2 words. Decording, no cording, omni-channel? All right, you got to describe it. Describe it.
So, the traditional media companies are linear, that's your network television, and then you go to cable, satellite, their web business, but social media is becoming a bigger part of it, as is evidenced by this show. So think about what the PGA Tour and the LPGA are enjoying right now. We have an attractive, exciting, interesting, multi-faceted group of millennials that are playing our sport at the highest level. So whether it's Ricky or Jordan or Justin, Jason, got a lot of J's.
J's, yeah.
But, and on the LPGA to get Lexi and Michelle and Lydia Ko from New Zealand. So you have this global group they grew up with social media, so they're very comfortable with that medium, and they give us as fans a peek inside their lives. What are they eating? What are they wearing? What music do they like? What's their workout routine? And that bodes really well for the future of golf. And so, yes, it does feed an increase in linear television viewership, but more importantly, it connects people with content on every piece of glass that they use.
Every piece of glass. And by the way, here's another piece which is very important, not just glass, but it's all about health. And we dug this out of the archives. The National Golf Foundation's report on why you should play, and I'm quoting, older golfers tend to have better static and dynamic balance control and confidence than non-golfing older healthy adults, which is a very important perspective, as Kenny G now demonstrates from the older golfer and the saxophone perspective. He's now, by the way, the reason he's not talking is he's on minute 23 of holding his breath. We still got about, it's a telethon. It's a Kenny G telethon, ladies and gentlemen. And more important, regardless of handicap, sex, or course played, golfers exceed 10,000 steps during a typical round of golf, exceeding the guideline for exercise recommended by most medical and clinical physicians. So two things. Number one is, as you get older, you want to play golf. And number two is, my phone hadn't been ringing. Why haven't you invited me to play recently?
Yeah, well, I've been waiting for the results of this new University of Edinburgh study.
Okay.
That is actually co-commissioned by the World Golf Foundation, and we have a number of top athletes from the men's and the women's tour that are going to be our health ambassadors to tell that story. You're right. There was a study in Sweden that showed that golfers live 5 years longer than people who don't play the game. And yes, let's face it, us boomers, we're going to that time in our life. We want to preserve the quality of our life. We want to stay active and involved. And golf not only provides that activity, but the balance that you use when you're swinging a club helps you in everyday life and enjoy life a lot more.
And drink lots of rum. I guess that comes at the end of this. We're holding, so Gosling rum, by the way, we are going to talk about that perspective and Barbados and all of those amazing things that happen when you're eighth generation. But that's another story for at the end of this. Yeah. Sir, so when are we playing?
As soon as this championship is over, so Monday morning?
Okay, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, deal.
I'll see you
we
then.
got it. All right, man. Thank you very much. Joe Steranka. George Lindley, step into my office.
All right.
Thank you. So we got an interesting perspective here. George is the head of